Let's discuss what a minimum viable product is and why it's important to your business. A minimum viable product, or MVP for short, is a product with enough features to attract early adopters or customers and to validate your product idea in your product development cycle. The aim of an MVP is to provide a version of your product that allows your team to collect the maximum amount of feedback about the customers and about your market with the least amount of effort while spending the least amount of money. In the software industry, the MVP helps your product team to receive user feedback as quickly as possible, which they then use to improve and iterate on your products. This means an MVP uses the agile methodology, which is built on validating and iterating products based on user input. Now, let's discuss how to build and not to build your minimum viable product. To help us better understand the minimum viable product concept, we use an analogy that discusses the MVP for an early adopter of a startup who wants to build a car. Most founders focus on delivering a win to that early adopter. However, the main problem of an early adopter that might be looking to use a car, assuming a car is the aim of our project or a car is a startup idea, will be something like moving from a point A to another point B. Building and providing a skateboard to that early adopter in the initial phase as your minimum viable product will solve the core problem of the user, which is to move from one point to the other. And the customer using the skateboard also opens up enough room for the user to grant feedback and to give feedback, which can eventually lead to the production of a standard car. When your user uses a skateboard, they can give feedback like, it's harder to turn around than this. Can you make the product easier to turn around bends and curves on the road? They might also give feedback like, can you make it automatic so I don't have to keep pushing it forward with my feet? Those two feedback can help you upgrade the product, the skateboard, into your first iteration, which is a scooter. Another feedback you might get after the customers get the scooter, which is the first iteration, could be, I'd like if it's possible to sit down while on the move. And can you make the product such that while I move around, I might be sitting more comfortably? This feedback can help you upgrade the scooter product to your first iteration to the second iteration, which could be a motorbike. And then with more feedback like, I would like to move around on the bike with my family of 4, I would like to be protected from the rain while moving, I would like if I could use my bike for grocery shopping, I would like if I could use it for lifting some heavy product. Your business may eventually iterate this motorcycle product into a car. However, providing an early stage user with a product like a wheel ignores the core problem, which is to move from a point A to a point B, and that does not give enough room for feedback that eventually leads to producing a car. So while the concept of a minimum viable product could help with building a lean startup, there can be mistakes in developing your minimum viable product. Now, there are 3 cases where founders might go wrong with a minimum viable product. The first is when building a product in an already established market. If you are building a product for a market that is well established, you may need to create something we call a minimum awesome product or a minimum delightful product, MAP and MVP for short, to differentiate yourself quickly from the competition in that industry. Say for example, you are building a social media platform. A simple MVP might not suffice for that kind of market. You may need to create a minimum A product or a minimum D product with unique features that set you apart from platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Now, when building a product that actually has complex features, your MVP might also not suffice. For example, if you are building accounting software, you may need to create a minimum awesome product, your MAP, or a minimum delightful product, your MVP, which includes all the necessary features and functionalities users in the accounting field require. And finally, one other way where you don't need an MVP, where you might not be using an MVP, would be when building a product with a high price point or a product that requires trust. For example, if you are using a luxury product or a fintech app, you may need to create MAP or MVP and not simply a minimum viable product for that kind of market, to ensure that there is a demand for the product before investing millions of dollars into manufacturing or into development. So whether you are trying to build a minimum viable product a minimum awesome product or a minimum delightful product to validate your market demand, all you have to do is simply reach out to the needed team for a free no-code cost estimation through the link showing on the screen.